Hey everybody, I'm here in Houston, Texas in the middle of June. It's zone 9A and I'm having a little walk around. I've been away from the garden for a couple of weeks and we have been some of the really lucky ones to have some rain in the last 10 days. Almost all of the state of Texas is in a drought, but here we are with some wonderful rain. So things look so good back here. I did move pots from the front back in here into the shade in the back because it was just too hot. I've put all the flower pots in the shade at this point. And then I've got a couple of little fire spike coming up. They usually wait until the fall to bloom. This one's going to be red, but there's already a little one right there coming up. I've had caladiums here that look great, and I've got caladiums over here that look great, but my big patches of them, I don't know if they've gotten too dry, but they are not looking terrific. So I'm hoping that this just is them dying back in the heat, and they'll pop back up maybe in the fall, but I'm not really sure, but they look pretty sad. These are all geraniums. I just moved ivy geraniums from the front porch. They were in those sort of black box planters, and they started looking pretty terrible. It was really getting too hot. I got them in as much shade as I could, but I think I'm going to give them a little feed and see if I can get these leaves. They're just bleached out. And I'll give an update on that. I don't really know what to do with all those white and pale yellow leaves, but maybe a little feed will do well. Here's the same kind of geranium that's been, mostly in the shade or in part sun, and you can see its leaves look so much better. And this gorgeous, gorgeous begonia. It's just the prettiest thing in the garden, I think. Just really flushed back out after that hard haircut that it got. And here again on all these flower pots are all just in almost total shade back here. It was 106 today, and the heat index for humans 116. So needless to say, we didn't really spend very much time out here. I'm getting ready in the next week or 10 days to do the Chelsea chop. I haven't because I've been gone. But everything's pretty leggy out here. I've got this little kufia. I also hate to cut too much down because I've still got butterflies and bees out here. That's the little kufia out here, and I don't want to cut everything down so they don't have anything. Oh, speaking of creatures, there's a little, let's see, there he is, little lizard right there. Hi, buddy. And this is that salvia leucantha right here, this whole giant thing. You can now see the supports down in there holding it upright, but I still think I need to trim it back before too long. It won't bloom until the fall anyway. One of the fun things that is blooming out here is this Crinum lily. I had that hot pink one over where I started, and then this pale pink Crinum here. I got this one at a garage sale at a house that was actually an estate sale, and the little old lady was moving in with her daughter, and they were going to tear the house down, and so that, oh, here she is to make her appearance. Hello, Mrs. Hello. She's ignoring me. That yard was going to get bulldozed, and I said, can I buy this Crinum lily from you? And she said, oh, I'm not sure, I don't know. And I said, I promise you I will take care of it. And this is going to get destroyed. And so she let me have it. And so I think of that little lady. It's probably been 20 years since I dug that up. Here's another patch of it right here, pale pink. And then I bought a little doodad to go in the middle just for fun. So I think everything looks pretty good for it being 106 today. This is all the salvia big blue that I did give that the Chelsea chop, mostly because it was falling over, and then after really great rain yet today, like in the middle of the night, almost 2 inches, we put some new mulch around that, just because those are, that ground has been shaded out for a long time because the plants were so big. So I didn't want that to dry out. We put some nice fresh mulch. And then this little Peter's Purple Monarda, which I didn't think would bloom again, and it's got a little bit of dead in the middle, but I trimmed it back a couple weeks ago, and here I've got a couple little flowers come up. So I was real surprised by that. It'd be great if this whole thing would rebloom later in the summer. So fingers crossed on that one. And then I've got my little Daylilies that I bought and planted just a couple of, maybe just a month ago. And those are looking good and coming up. Everything over here is pretty crispy. This is the balloon milkweed that's a little floppy, a little worse for wear. And then this is my first dahlia. It's still got little buds on it, but it looks pretty terrible. So I'm not sure. Dahlias are new to me, so I may trim that back. I'm not really sure. The fabulous grass is still fabulous. And then these grasses are really fluffing up. This is that Gulf pink muley grass. So this is just looking really great, and I've got a lot more little flower spikes on it. So I'm hoping that would be terrific if that whole thing puffed up with that pink flower spike. Another thing doing really well are the threadleaf coreopsis, which is just such a dainty little flower, little bitty. And I love these little dainty leaves as well. And then a lot of the coneflowers doing well. The white, and then there's some pink over here that's looking really well. And the roses are getting ready. You can see they're struggling because their foliage doesn't look terrific, but they've got buds, all over. But they don't last long in this heat. But it's doing all right out here. And then this is a salvia regii. It's the white version, and it has a tendency to just have pieces randomly die off, and that's what's happened. So you can see this giant dead spot, and so it's a drawback to that plant. I haven't really, if I didn't like it so much, I'd probably just dig it up and put something else there. But I do really like it. At night when it is in bloom, all these little white flowers, it's very sparkly out in the dark when you look out from the house, and so I hate to get rid of it, but that's why I'm growing more. These are all white coneflowers as well, so I just have some white. I like it to be sort of visible from the house. And then this is the little stuff I've never grown until this year, and it's so cute, this little bitty salvia, and I'm really pleased with it. I just love it. I'm hoping that it'll really fill in. I wish I had bought one more. There's sort of an empty spot there. I didn't have anything die. It was just poor planning on my part. And if we're gonna walk around, walk over here for a minute. I've got this great yellow daylily. It's got a big wasp in there right now. This is called How High the Moon, and it's been a really beautiful flower. The plant's got a little work to do. I'm going to trim it way back when it's through blooming. And then this is that agastache, and in normal times I would trim it. It looks pretty ratty. It's sort of tall and gangly, but it's still got a lot of flowers on it, and I'm still seeing a lot of bees on it. So I think I may sort of do Chelsea chop on half and leave the other half, and then in a month when this has started blooming, then I'll cut the other half back, so that I need to leave some things with bees. And then this is a really awesome spider lily that you can see. I mean, it's just gorgeous with all these incredible flowers. I'll try to find you a like fresh, pretty one to look at. Just fantastic. And this plant is probably 4 feet by 5 feet, almost 5 by 5, and it just is wonderful. It dies to the ground in a hard freeze. It'll just die right to the ground. It comes back, does really well. And then this hyacinth bean vine has gotten completely out of control. It needs a big cutback, but since I haven't been out here, I haven't been able to. And the little Texas kidneywood is still you know, I'm trying to give it some light to let it get up there, but the best thing would be to really trim this back hard. I just haven't done it. And then got some little, these are zinnias that I grew from seed. They're the ones called Sahara Starlight Rose that have no rose to speak of on them, but I never water back here. I haven't paid any attention to them at all, and they look really nice, I think. And then this is noisy, but I'm going to show you the crocosmia. It's so pretty. And it's just gorgeous blooming back here. They're hidden away because it's orange, and that's not in my color scheme. I do think this is pretty great for being in a drought, and I really haven't watered. Our sprinkler system's broken anyway, so it wouldn't matter. I'll water things if they look distressed, but really, you know, we've been lucky enough to get random thunderstorms in the last 12 days to keep it watered, and we try very hard not to run the sprinklers. Another thing that's looking great is this verbena, and I think this is the best it's looked. And then we have our new little friend, this little frog that we added next to the pond. He's cracking me up. These daylilies, I cannot believe they are still going. I just can't believe it. Oh, I'm having trouble focusing this camera today. You can see I obviously need to do something about the pond. It's sort of covered over. You can see my little ladies back there. But yeah, it's a little work. Then you can see I've taken the pots off. Normally I have pots out here, and those are the ones I've put back. It's just too hot for them to be in the sun. Here we've got some fennel. It's going to start blooming, and there's some pretty fennel in here that's blooming. And we've been clipping. We finally gave up on the wasps letting the caterpillars grow, and so we started bringing the caterpillars in. And so we've had 2 butterflies that we have released this weekend. It's been the most fun thing. We've never brought them inside before, but I got tired of the wasps eating everything. Here's another a different little bitty zinnia that I just love. I kind of have it sprinkled here and there. This crazy cleome, I've just let it go. Why not? It looks like an alien creature. So it's just been fun. My favorite pretty parasol coneflowers are looking really nice. And then that spectacular, what was it called? Having a senior moment. Agastache, the Tutti Frutti Agastache. You know, it was so tall and so beautiful for so long. Finally just sort of needed a big trim. And so I cut it back, and again, we put new mulch around it today. And then this is looking really pretty. This Buddleia, I kind of trimmed a bunch of the spent flowers off, but I wanted to leave some on for the bees and the butterflies. These zinnias are doing well. They're flopping over, but again, the bees and the butterflies are really still all over these. And this plumbago is always a winner in Houston. You'll see it all over town, and it just looks gorgeous all the time. And it will continue. It'll continue until it freezes. Well, thanks for having a look around. I apologize for the weird focus problems I'm having, but I sure do appreciate you taking a look with me. I hope your garden's looking great too. Bye-bye.